And Collins Injera did announce his retirement. I spoke to him earlier on. He said he was going to be out of town. He didn't want to be part of the show today. And William Baka, we couldn't trace him as well, but he also has retired. That's what we remember. But there were matches as well. So what do we have there? Do we have the results?
Yes.
Did you see the results? Yes.
I did. I had to keep reporting this, that how we lost. But anyway, we lost 31-5 to South Africa. New Zealand 33-0. Then we beat Uruguay in our last pool match, 24-19. We went into the championship trophy, beat Spain 17-12, and then lost very narrowly to Tonga, 26-24. That and made us finish 11th in the tournament, got us our 5 points. There are 15.
Okay.
This game is
we're not doing too well in the sevens. Let's
you see, now we are 12th overall, and you know, it's only the first 11 that are guaranteed of playing in the sevens next year. 12, 13, 14 have to go for a playoff in London. So we are now in this. The 6th leg, I think, is in February. Some date in February in Los Angeles. We need to pull up our socks. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves.
Captain, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think for me, if you have heard me before, I've on this show many times I've said that, you know, the sevens has been doing very well in the past. And that is why the retirement of Collins Injera, I hope that he will think of how to inspire our whole team. Because remember, for a very long time, so many Kenyans used to travel to, whether it is in the US, Australia, anywhere they were playing, you know, many Kenyans would be going there. I mean, those are the days that the fans of rugby, you know, are looking back and they're asking themselves, what happened? And that brings me that the officials, the players, and the government should be able to look at the rugby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you're right. My worry is, and I've mentioned it before, that some of these players have been playing together for long, and it means that they start aging together. And when they retire, there will be the bulk of them retiring at that time. The question is there a succession plan to be able to bring in new players into sevens rugby?
That is something that is needed, just like in, for example, in athletics, you know, you have the juniors, you know, those who are in school. I think what we need to do as a country, we have schools that used to perform very well. That is where the scout, the talent scout guys, you know, those who go and fish, those guys, they should be able to look at those schools and at least encourage the secondary schools especially, you know, to be able to take up, you know, rugby seriously so that we can be able to pick. And you are right, Bernard, you know, if you look at the guys, you know, we have 2 people already, the top ones, retiring at the same time. It is a big blow for the rugby sevens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hope that they will be able to inject a little, you know, life into rugby at the lower leagues to be able to spring them up to the top league. But 2 of our players then retired from that rugby. New Zealand won both events at the Sydney Sevens and the Hamilton Sevens. So New Zealand is charged at the moment in taking literally everything there is. We'll see what happens in Los Angeles. Another championship has been going on, the African Championships, football championships as they are called. They're called CHAN. The easiest way to remember is that it is the championship for home-based players, players who are not playing abroad, who are not playing in the professionals. And there were some very interesting results in that as well.
Yes, the semi-finals were played over this week, and Algeria beating Niger, it was 5-0. And then Madagascar losing to Senegal 1-0. The big thing coming out, there are three pointers I saw, Bernard, which I would like to quickly go through. 1, Algeria has just breezed through this tournament. I don't even think they have conceded a goal. 2, Madagascar. Madagascar is my revelation in this tournament. They have played very, very, very well. Tomorrow they are playing Niger in the 3rd and 4th playoff. I think there is a lot of hope for Madagascar for tomorrow. Finally, Senegal. Senegal seems to have an abundance of talent. I have noted also, and I read this somewhere, there's a lot of scouts looking out for these players, especially Senegal, because the talent is...
Well, Senegal is the African champion, so you expect a good job from them. The question would be why Madagascar has gone that far. What did you see in them that made them go that far?
For me, it's all about the talent and the youth. Tapping the youth. Because even the Madagascar guys, they are all under 21s. Yeah. And
they are our neighbors here, remember?
Yeah, they're just our neighbors.
Capitano, what did you see in it?
You know, I see the tournament itself as it acts as a barometer, you know, for young African talents. It acts, you know, just as Ken has put it, you know, where those guys can have an opportunity, to play with the bigger players, and therefore also they get themselves to be able to get maybe to big matches. Because remember that as Africans, we have not been doing well when it comes to big matches. We also have few players that are playing in the top leagues in Europe, whether it's the EAPL and the rest. We have got a small number of African players, and therefore this is an opportunity for them to be able to showcase
Yeah, I think
talent.
you're right. It's an opportunity because they don't have that opportunity to play in leagues that can showcase their talent out there. This is a perfect place to be able to be seen by the world scouts because they're based at home, and they might not have a scout with a keen eye like when they're playing out there. You're right about that. So the finals are this weekend, and it's Senegal versus Algeria. What a final that will be. Algeria at home, and then Senegal, the African champions. This is going to be a little bit of fire in there. We'll see what happens. Cross country, and it is the cross country season, and it's one after the other as we are seeing it. But also in cross country season, there is cross country fraud. And the camera of one official who was not working at the cross country actually did catch the picture of a runner who came in halfway through the race and joined the others, pretending to have been running with the rest. I mean, why would someone do that? But Capitano, you must have seen this. Where was this, and who is this athlete, and why are they trying to defraud everybody else?
Well, I think already so far the athlete has been known for what happened. But when it comes to the big cross country, what is supposed to happen is that every athlete should have a bib.
He had a bib number.
Yeah, but
he did have a bib number.
But what happened is that some people think that they can be able to have a shortcut. But when you are running, especially where you have to go through the loops, it should be able to count how many loops you have been able to go. But again, these are shortcuts that most people they do, especially when it comes to marathon. There was a time that most people, because they know a marathon, they have to run from one destination to another. Somebody will be in the forest and just run the last 10 kilometers and win a race. It's unfortunate.
This happened even here in Kenya with the Nairobi International Marathon. We had a case in which one person joined the race, I think, just the last 10 kilometers, and that is it.
It was not 10 kilometers. It was just maybe just outside here.
It was just before the end.
And ran very quickly. He wasn't even sweating.
Unfortunately, in the past, especially when there was no keying on the officials of those people who are leading, because for a marathon, those who are in the car, there should be some officials that can be able to mark at 10 kilometers, for example. There was PIP number
this and that.
Yes.
And then it took a very keen eye of an official who was not working at the race. I have his name. I talked to him as well. He told me he had just seen the guy coming out there, and he had to rewind to find out. And so the guy, just bobbing out of the edge and coming on.
Something that you need to remember, Bernard, there are people that have gotten away with it. And therefore, if somebody knows very well that, and especially if prize money is involved, somebody knows I was able to do this and I got some money, so it encourages others to be able to do the same.
Shame on him. I think this was a very bad thing to do.
When I saw it, I actually thought it was a joke. I didn't know someone sending a joke. I didn't
No, it wasn't.
anyone
It
in the
was
right mind
real.
would want
It was
to do
real.
that.
And it
because
was
it's so
coupled.
blatant.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy just popped, waited to see guys where they are going, and then he just jumped right behind them.
No, it's a good thing that he was removed from the race.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep on talking about the cross country. There's going to be the Sirikwa Classic race, and this is also a gold level event. It is also a cross country event, isn't it, Capitano?
Yeah,
are you going to be there for it?
Well, absolutely. I'm
You
going
will?
to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there.
What is your expectation of it?
Number one is that you have mentioned that it's a golden, meaning it is in the category of the cross countries that World Athletics have put, just the same way we have track in terms of diamond, league, and then golden going down. So this is the second edition. Initially, remember that it was called Agnes Europe, but they have changed now. They call it Sirikwa. My expectation is that we have something very interesting with the organizers. They have put the start of their first race around 12:30. Which to me it's going to be a little bit tough. Remember, we are in dry season. It's so hot.
Why have they put it at that time?
Well, I don't know. You know, of course, that is it depends with the organizers why they did that. But as far as I know, cross country always is done very early in the morning because it's going to affect them. But again, with Kenyan athletes, they will always be able to perform. I know we have a number of countries represented. I think we have not less than 10 countries represented on this event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see then who's going to be coming out champion of that, and hoping that no one will join the race halfway like they did in the other race. Australia Open tennis just got finished as well over the weekend, and the story has been about Novak Djokovic. First of all, he was not allowed to play the last time because of embargoes on Corona and everything else, and he said he didn't want to be vaccinated, so the anti-vaxxers were with him, the vaxxers were against him. Ultimately got to play there, and Novak Djokovic won his 10th Australian Open title. Now with this, he also equaled the record of Nadal. He beat Tsitsipas. Now 22 Grand Slams both have gotten, 44 in total between the two of them. Capitano, what do you say about Djokovic?
I think Djokovic is one of the best players we have had. You know, I've watched. This is one game that I love. You know, when it comes to tennis, the times of people like Andre Agassi, you know, he was my inspiration. I remember when he won the biggest match and he cried, and I found myself crying, and it has given me a lot of interest. But something very interesting, especially for the Australian Open, is that despite the fact that this guy was not allowed last year, you can imagine now he has equal Rafael Nadal's performance. But had he played last year, you know, he would have already surpassed. But he still has a huge chance because he's a very disciplined athlete. He has a stand. He will say that I'm not going to get a chap for COVID.
And that is it. So he's a principled guy.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about him?
Djokovic was so confident of himself. Two things. One, in one of the matches, he was asked, why did you beat? Why did you do this? He said, I beat him because I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know? then now the final, when he came out to receive his trophy, he had the jacket and blazoned 22.
Yes.
He knew he was going to win the 22nd
his
Grand Slam.
manager certainly was getting ready with that.
Yeah, you know, I think he's probably at his peak now, and it's going to be very difficult for anyone to dislodge him. Remember at the beginning of the Australian Open, I'd hoped to see a Nadal versus Djokovic. Well, that wasn't to be. Nadal got injured along the way, but yeah, was also brought a record attendance.
Yes.
To the Australian Open, 839,000 up.
Now that's what you have when you have somebody like Djokovic.
Yes.
Attracts the crowds as well.
Yeah.
Yes. And our congratulations to him as well, and also for that record equaling feat. It's our congratulations. Let's interact with you as well. Talk to us about what do you think about Novak Djokovic's quest and conquest rather. You can talk to us on our Twitter handles. I am at Bernard_sports.